So today's Tisha B'Av, trying to fast. Most people in Tel Aviv, I'm guessing, I don't know. But I wanted to talk to you about something very interesting I found in a book I found yesterday. You can say it can be a coincidence or cannot be a coincidence. And it's a book about Jewish things. And one of the things was about Herzl, the founder of Zionism. Now, Zionism has been demonized. What is Zionism? Just a dictionary definition is the quest to go to Zion, to Israel. The belief that Jews should live in the land of Israel. So we are really, the number of Jews living in Israel has been increasing despite the fact that we're surrounded by a lot of enemies that want to kill us and destroy us, which is in itself amazing. But what I wanted to point out is this. Interesting facts, because let's not talk about emotions, but I get emotional when I talk about these facts. So, listen to this, people. Herzl was born in 1860, and he died in 1904, around the time my maternal grandparents were born in Europe and in Slovakia. And he predicted that in 50 years, his dream would come true and there would be a Jewish state. And guess what? 50 years after he said that, that became a fact, which is amazing, isn't it? One thing. The second thing that's very amazing is that my grandmother came from a family of 7 siblings, and all of her siblings and their families, I mean their children, except for I think either 3 or 4 nephews and nieces, all of them were murdered in concentration camps. All of them. One brother came to the land of Israel. It was not Israel then. It was not before 1948. Of course, it was before the Holocaust, and he went back to Europe and was murdered. So my grandmother was the only Zionist. She was the only one who believed that the Jews should live in a Jewish state. Therefore, she survived. She was the only one who survived. So that's not a coincidence. And that was the idea. Sorry about the noise. The idea of Zionism was to offer a solution to anti-Semitism, because just around that time, Herzl died in 1904, don't forget, and he was very active in looking for a solution for anti-Semitism. After, as a journalist, he covered the Dreyfus trial, where a Jewish French officer was accused of treason and was sentenced to lifelong imprisonment on Devil's Island. He covered the story and he said, how can this happen? And he heard the masses calling death to the Jews, not death to the traitors, death to the Jews. So he realized there's a problem. He was not a religious Jew at all. In fact, at one point he thought all Jews should convert to solve the problem, which shows you how far he was from Judaism. And then, at one point, that trial was the turning point in his life. He realized that anti-Semitism in Europe was getting to a level that is unbearable. And 50 years after his death, when he said he died in 1904, and 50 years after he didn't say that in 1904, obviously, but 50 years after he said, in 50 years there will be a Jewish state, 50 years later there was a Jewish state. And he can't ignore things like that. And he can't ignore the fact that my grandmother was the only one who was a Zionist. And her husband, my grandfather, may rest in peace, both of them, his mother, as soon as Hitler went into power, she came to Israel as well. Can't ignore that this is a safe haven for Jews. And we have the largest amount of Holocaust survivors. So I'm passing a synagogue. In Europe, every synagogue has to be protected. I don't know why this dog is here. Has to be protected by a guard. Here we don't need that yet. Why is the dog tied here? I don't know. I'm going to find out. Wait, I'm going to turn this video off. Why is this dog here, you know? מה קורה פה? I'm going to ask. Anyway, see, this is what I do. I try to help animals.